Hello, this is Ryan Carbone of Inventory Optimizer.
And Craig Barnell from Fishers Finery in Inventory Optimizer.
Hi, everybody. So, here we're going to be introducing our new podcast of If You Don't Have It, You Can't Sell It. And today, we're going to be diving into the most critical quarter of the year for e commerce and retail. From forecasting demand to overcoming supply chain bottlenecks, we'll be exploring how brands can stay profitable and agile during the busiest shopping season. Craig,
Well, Ryan, I think what we ought to do is unpack what it really takes to dominate Q4. From Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which now starts well before that time frame, to the holiday fulfillment and postseason inventory cleanup. The topics we're going to hit are forecasting for Q4 demand using data and not guesswork. We're going to go over strategies to prevent stockouts and overstocks during the peak season. We're going to also touch on the global logistics challenges and how to stay ahead of them, and the role that AI and automation play in managing seasonal inventories. So let's talk about real world scenarios and cover how e-commerce brands can handle these all too often happening issues that we can actually get ahead of if we use the proper solution.
that sounds like quite the agenda for today. Now, when do you start preparing for Q?
Well, we start preparing for Q4 in Q1. So some of our products are highly seasonal, and we have a complete line of cashmere, hat gloves, and scarf accessories. And we have to have that order ready to go to secure the actual cashmere fiber in March. So we start our Q4 planning as early as Q1.
That's quite some time. So I know you use Inventory Optimizer for doing that and helping with that planning since you're forecasting almost a year out into the future. What is your, I guess, accuracy been by using our software?
So, as you know, the birth of the product of Inventory Optimizer came from issues that we were experiencing. You and I have been doing this now together for over 7 years. So, when we look at Q4 demand and using data to provide analytics for what we're going to do looking forward, it's incumbent upon any seller to use the best tools available. We think the one that we've developed, Inventory Optimizer, is by far the best using our AI technology. So, the accuracy directly looking at our products and our ability to stay in stock has been at 93% or higher for going on 5 years now. And that's across 4,000 SKUs across multiple categories as an 8-figure seller on Amazon and a mid 7-figure seller on Shopify.
That's very impressive. You start with your cashmere products, you place those purchase orders back in Q1, get that product ordered. Then you're looking at Q2, you're getting your silk ordered, getting that ready to go, as well as you start planning out what you're going to be sending into AWD as well as into FBA.
Yeah, so when we look at strategies to prevent stockouts and overstocks during the peak season, we use our forecasting tools to look at what we call horizon. And Ryan, you and I, talk about it weekly, but some people don't, use that type of term to describe what we call horizon is from placing a purchase order to it being in your fulfillment center and fulfillable or able to be processed for orders. And so in looking at that horizon and then using sophisticated AI driven forecasting tools like Inventory Optimizer, we're able to predict when demand is going to rise and order in anticipation of getting it here in time before the bottlenecks happen, both at the Port of Los Angeles and New York at Elizabeth and at Amazon, getting into AWD and FBA. So when you take in all those factors that clog up the supply chain along the way, it's not just simply as getting the product ordered and getting it here, late October, early November, and then hoping it gets in. We're able to build a horizon that says the product for Q4 should be here before the end of Q3. And our software allows you to place that order as early as you want, but it'll look at that period of time and make sure that you're ordering the appropriate product based on your historical sales volume and your current trends. So if products are increasing in volume, it's going to adjust your forecast. If it's decreasing, it's going to adjust. So you'll order more of what you need to make sure you stay in stock and less of what you don't need so that you're not overstocked.
Yeah, and then layer on tariffs on top of all of that, an even more additional complexity that you have to account for as well. And they have the we're having the issues about getting in shipments into AWD as well as into FBA right now. So another struggle, just part of the reason why preparing ahead of time is so important and will continue to be important moving forward as well.
Right. And so along those lines, using the other side of our platform, which is Restock AMZ, which takes a look at all demand, FBA and MCF, multi-channel fulfillment. A big plug for our product. We handle demand on both sides, which is a challenge inside Amazon because their system does not. So we're able to look at not only what we should have purchased to have in stock, for the period of right now, it was we looked at October 1st through January 15th in preparation of Chinese New Year. But we also then run the same forecasting models to say what needs to be in stock when at FBA. And since we're an FBA and MCF customer, just because a product's in AWD and the listing stays live on Amazon, that's not true for our Shopify store. The product has to be in a distribution center and slotted before the feed will go live for multi-channel fulfillment. So it places a far greater demand for accurate forecasting so that we can get that product into FBA, not just in transit, getting checked in, which all stays live on Amazon, but your Shopify store goes down, or whoever powers your website if you're using multi-channel fulfillment. So because of that additional complexity, we've built that type of forecasting and operational footprint into what a Restock AMZ is, and it is a critical component of us maintaining what right now is a 50% year over year growth on our Shopify store.
Is that something that you could maybe show us one of these forecasts for?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here. This is just one of our products and taking a look at what you see when you go into our system. So what we're looking at here is what we call our item card. And this is the forecast graph. It's laying over 21 to 22 and then the subsequent years. So if your product has 4 years or more of history, we will take 4 years. We will ingest what's happened in those 4 years. We will discount days where the reason you didn't sell something was that you were out of stock. So if you're out of stock and have no sales, we are not going to include that in your forecast. We're only going to include stock in Amazon uh, and then what actually happened with sales. So if you have stock and don't sell it, we include that as a zero sale day. But if you had no stock, we do not include those days. Tremendously improve the accuracy of our forecasting. So we take 4 years and then we look at what our forecast is for the future. And then we build in what we call safety stock. So the reason this is critical is that this forecasting model takes into account that time horizon so that you're ordering the product for this huge peak that's going to happen way in advance so that you make sure that it's here in time to be able to get into the supply chain. And not only do we look at projected sales horizon right now of 155 days, so for us, what that says is from the day I issue a PO to the day that it's going to be available inside Amazon, we're planning with the slowdowns and things happening at ports of 155 days to make sure we have enough product. Uh, we not only take in the historical sales, but we also take in current sales. So recent data, what's going on in right now, so that we can capture micro trends up or down to make sure we adjust the forecast to have the appropriate level of stock. We definitely want to make sure we have enough, but we also want to guard against not having too much. The fees can kill you. So we track what you have in stock, what's at the warehouse, and what's on PO.
Yeah, and just for Amazon sellers out there, that's going to be including all inventory inside of the Amazon ecosystem, including what's inbound to AWD, what's at AWD, what's going from AWD into FBA, the same as any shipments into FBA. So you don't have to worry about uploading anything into our system as long as you have that information inside of Amazon. It'll all be pulled in automatically via sync. So just wanted to let everyone know if you have any concerns about that. We're here to make less legwork, not more. So we want to make your lives as easy as possible. And how Craig, you mentioned at the beginning of this, like with cashmere products, you plan on this almost 12 months in advance, you're using the same data as we're looking at here, just with the differing lead time to see that data, and you'll just have I imagine a small increase in service level or safety stock because you're forecasting further out into the future, a little bit of greater uncertainty, but still very accurate forecasts.
100%. And we build in themes like we build in guardrails like what's your MOQ, your minimum order quantity? How often do you order? So when you saw before the 155-day horizon, that includes lead time of 125 plus I order monthly. So we build in the fact that when is the product going to arrive? So we don't over order, starting in March because we know we're ordering every 30 days. So the system builds in the guardrail to order for the product that's needed to meet the 30-day window of the next order. So it really helps you manage your cash flow at an extremely efficient level. We have less dollars as a percentage of our inventory committed to inventory in the warehousing in fulfillment network today than we did 4 years ago when we were substantially smaller. So we have less money committed on a percentage of our total inventory today, which is critical because having freed up capital allows us to grow. If we have too much money, tied up in inventory that's taking too long to turn, it cripples us with our ability to be nimble and try to introduce new products. So, when you put it all together, Ryan, from knowing when to order what quantity at what time, then you get it here, to then being able to know when do I need to move it into FBA, and using our forecasting model in conjunction with the AWD FBA forecasting models. I can't imagine doing it without Inventory Optimizer and Restock AMZ. It has been an amazing growth and contributor to our business, being able to, buy more of what we need and less of what we don't.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially during this busy season that's coming up in Q4, it's just more important than ever to have accurate inventory inside of the Amazon ecosystem for Amazon sellers, as well as just accurate inventory at your own warehouses, so you can fulfill that demand when it occurs, as well as having the additional capital to be able to advertise and get those page listings up, on Amazon, as that's becoming more and more difficult given how much competition there is inside of the Amazon ecosystem.
Well, wait till we announce our upcoming enhancements to the product that are going to take into account page view sessions and conversion rates into our forecasting models. And then the ability that if you're not going to have enough inventory to cover the amount of time it's going to take to get your replenishment stock in, we're going to give you the opportunity to decrease advertising spend or increase price, or do both if you want to. Slow demand so that you don't go out of stock. So all those things are coming. But right now, in Q4 is preparation meeting opportunity. So without a product like Inventory Optimizer and Restock AMZ, I just don't know how you can do it. Add in the global logistics challenges that we're all faced with, between the tariffs and duties to, slowdowns at the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, to bottlenecks at AWD with our product, which we not only do for our company, Fishers Finery, but also other companies we consult for. We're able to, in real time, make decisions like cross-docking versus just sending everything into AWD and hoping it moves through the system fast enough. We're able to segment our forecast to say what should go into FBA right now, which also is MCF, and what is okay to go into AWD and take the additional days it takes to get stocked in at AWD and then move into FBA. So we can segment that flow of inventory, and that's how you take guesswork out of replenishment, ordering, and restocking.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. If anyone out there wants more information on that, we're going to have additional information down in the description for this video, so you'll know how to get in contact with Craig and myself. And hopefully, over the next several weeks, we're going to have some additional guest speakers on, including Kayla from Fishers Finery team. She may be doing a cameo on here to talk about how she interacts with AWD and FBA, and how Inventory Optimizer can get the correct amount of inventory at FBA from AWD using those same forecasting techniques as Craig uses for procurement, because we all know that AWD doesn't do the best job at restocking FBA. We'll definitely be able to help with that, and we have helped with that with many customers.
Thanks, Ryan. Look forward to our next episode.
Absolutely. Thank you.